Good evening, everyone. Let's wait for all other school also. Let them join, and then we'll start today's session.
भाई मोबाइल को लेके जाओ अपने मोबाइल कपड़े सामने के दोनों का आवाज है इधर से चलाना कर देंगे सबको है That is a power of mechanism. उसको डिनाई मार दूंगा एक बार आ जाएगा कसम मोबाइल गड्ढे की जाएगा ना और मैं मारूंगा डिनाई भाग
स्टिक टमाटर की केमिस्ट्री खोज रहे कितने जान हुए
चिपका दे रहे हो आप
Let's wait for another 2 minutes so that more of the students can join, and then we'll start today's session. Okay, good evening to all. My dear students, let's start today's session, and After some time, I will check whether more students want to join or not. So let's begin with today's class. So today we'll learn regarding the distinguish between some important organic compounds, which are very common questions in your CBSE exam, which are frequently asking nowadays. Now, in this type of question, which we need to know regarding the idea of some reagents. Okay, when we get some idea about some reagent, that means which reagent react with which kind of compound, and after doing reaction, which kind of product they do form. It is very much important to understand, and if we do know all these things, you can easily solve this type of questions. For example, first question as how can you distinguish between an alcohol and a phenol? How can you distinguish between an alcohol and a phenol? We all know that alcohol means alcohol have the general formula, that is ROH. Alcohol have the general formula ROH, and phenol have the formula C6H5OH, or thoroughly we do know this symbol of phenol, right? So either this sign or this, both are indicating phenol. Now, alcohol contain OH group, phenol also contain OH group. Okay, let's add other persons also. So alcohol contain OH group, phenol do also contain OH group. And what is the reaction which will separate this alcohol and phenol from each other? There is a reagent known as ferric chloride, formula FeCl3. Now this FeCl3 reagent react with phenol. FeCl3 react with phenol and form a compound like this C6H5O
मैं हूँ सर,
whole 3
मैं हूँ सर,
Fe.
मैं हूँ।
Okay, this compound has a color which is violet or red something. That means this color will form when ferric chloride will react with phenol. But FeCl3 does not react with alcohol. That means this reagent you can use to distinguish between alcohol and phenol. That means, for example, if in the exam ask you that one compound is alcohol and another compound is phenol, how you can distinguish? You will use FeCl3 to distinguish them, and just write the concept that after doing reaction, what does the product FeCl3 form with alcohol and phenol? Actually, phenol do react with FeCl3 and form a phenol iron complex, that is this complex, and which has a violet color, but alcohol does not react with FeCl3. Okay, clear my dear students? Okay, let's admit other people also. Now the second question is, how can you differentiate or distinguish? Both are of same type of question. How can you distinguish between an aldehyde and a ketone? Aldehyde and a ketone. Okay, and ketone.
कहाँ से ले रहा है
We do all know that aldehyde and ketone both are carbonyl compounds. Both are carbonyl compounds. That means both contain this group. Okay, both contain this group. So, as both contain this carbonyl part, the reaction will take place in this. But we know that aldehyde is more reactive than ketone because of the presence of this hydrogen, and ketone is less reactive. That's why when we use Tollens reagent or Fellings reagent, these are mild oxidizing agent. Okay, Tollens reagent and Fellings reagent both are mild oxidizing agent. This mild oxidizing agent will react with more reactive aldehyde group. Okay, more reactive aldehyde group and not with ketone. Okay, that is Tollens reagent and Fellings reagent does not react with ketone but react with aldehyde.
हम भी स्क्रीन पे दिखा रहा है.
What does they do after reaction? Aldehyde react with Tollens reagent or Fellings reagent and changes some color or some mirror like this. Like when Tollens reagent react with aldehyde, when Tollens reagent react with aldehyde, it will form a silver mirror on the test tube. Suppose you are asking to take some aldehyde and some ketone in a test tube. Then when you add the Tollens reagent or Fellings solution in the aldehyde solution and ketone solution separately, then you will observe, for example, show you in a test tube, if you take aldehyde, and this test tube contain ketone, if this test tube contain ketone, then
गूगल
after
मीट पे सर
putting
वो उसके लिए वो करना पड़ता है, उसका सिस्टम नहीं है, जूम
the
पे हो जाता है
Tollens
तुरंत.
reagent, that is ammonical silver nitrate, Tollens reagent,
आइए
and provide heat, will observe a pure silver color in the upper layer of the test tube. That is also a very good test. Probably you have tested it in your practical exam, in your practical classes in the CBSE board. And when we do the same reaction with ketone, will not observe any kind of silver mirror in the
देखा अगर जो भैया कहीं वो हाथ ना दबाए दिखा,
test tube. Okay.
पता चला कुछ
So,
और खड़ा हो जाए.
what is the reaction to distinguish between aldehyde and ketone? Tollens reagent or Fellings reagent. And these two tests, that is Tollens test and Fellings test, these two tests we will use to distinguish aldehydes and ketones. Aldehydes will give the Tollens test. Ketone will not give us the Tollens test. Okay? Hopefully, my dear students, you understand this concept. Another distinguishing question, that is, how can you distinguish between an alkene and alkane? Alkene and alkane. We do all know that alkene has double bond and alkane have single bond. Okay. Now, the alkene have double bond and alkane have single bond. When you use bromine water is normally red brown color. Now this red brown bromine water will react with this, that is alkene, and form this compound. That means with the double bond, this bromine atom will combine, okay, and form this kind of compound. And though bromine water is red brown color, but this compound is colorless. This is colorless compound. This is colorless compound. Okay. So this is colorless compound. So that means when we use bromine water to distinguish between alkane and alkene, this compound will give us the colorless solution. But when we use bromine water in the case of alkane, this alkane will not react with bromine water because alkane does not contain any multiple bond, okay, any multiple bond to connect with this. Okay, so which reagent we should use to distinguish between alkene and alkane? That is bromine water. And how does it changes its color? When we use bromine water, in the case of separation or distinguishing between alkene and alkane, the bromine water will become colorless in the case of alkene and remain the same in the case of alkene because it does not react with alkane. Okay, now move to the next slide. Another distinguishing question, that is how can you differentiate between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol? This is most important question from CBSE point of view. My dear students, probably you have just here the reagent, that is Lucas reagent. What is Lucas reagent? Lucas reagent is nothing but the concentrated HCl. Lucas reagent is nothing but the concentrated HCl and Lucas reagent is nothing but the concentrated HCl and ZnCl2. Okay, concentrated HCl, that is concentrated HCl plus anhydrous ZnCl, anhydrous ZnCl2. This is very important reagent. And when you use Lucas reagent, that is concentrated HCl and anhydrous ZnCl2, this will react with primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols in different way. And how does it react with three types of alcohols? Normally, these Lucas reagents react very fast with tertiary alcohols. That means when you mix this Lucas reagent with tertiary alcohol, that is tertiary alcohol,
80 मार्क्स का बोला है सर ने, प्रिंसिपल सर ने भी बोला है, प्रिंसिपल सर ने भी बोला कि बेटा 80 मार्क्स.
this will give us turbidity immediately.
और कॉपी चेक करके सर को दिखाना है.
This will give us turbidity immediately.
उस कॉपी पे होगा, स्कूल की कॉपी
Okay,
सर ने बोला.
when you use this, we will get the turbidity
एग्जाम
immediately.
कॉपी है उसी पे टेस्ट लेना
But
पूरा.
when you use, in case of secondary alcohol, when you use the secondary alcohol,
नेक्स्ट वीक सर
it
आपका
will give
नंबर है.
us secondary alcohol. It will give us turbidity, but after shaking it some time. That means there is a difference in the order of reactivity. That means tertiary alcohol will react with this reagent, that is Lucas reagent, very fast, but will react with the secondary alcohol comparatively more slowly. Okay, and when to use primary alcohol instead of secondary alcohol, that primary alcohol will react with Lucas reagent and form turbidity after long time. That means the primary alcohol will be less reactive with
हाँ तो नहीं होगा ना, तो आपका पहले होगा.
Lucas reagent. This Lucas reagent
आप 12 में
will
देखिए ना,
react
होगा पक्का सर, ऐसा है नहीं कि 12 में ना हो.
fastest way with tertiary alcohol, then with secondary alcohol, then with
कितनी
primary
चाहिए, कितना
alcohol.
चाहिए?
So
आसान
the
तो है.
order of reactivity of Lucas reagent with different types of alcohol will follow this order. That is tertiary alcohol. That is tertiary alcohol greater than secondary alcohol, and then
10 से
primary alcohol. This is very important reaction.
अरे सर सैंपल पेपर सॉल्व कराएगा
So
ना जो करेक्शन.
Lucas reagent
आप
is
इको का क्लास
normally
ले लीजिए
used
ना,
to
खाली पड़ा है,
distinguish
इको सर तो है
between
नहीं. हाँ नहीं
tertiary
है.
alcohol,
इको सर
secondary
नहीं है, हिंदी सर
alcohol,
नहीं
and
है.
primary alcohol. Hopefully, my dear students, you understand this concept very
हाँ,
well.
वही चल रहा है ना.
Let me check whether
हिंदी सर
other
कहाँ
students
है?
are in the
हिंदी
line.
सर तो बिजी है खाना बनाने में.
Let's continue. Let's move to the next question. That is, how can you distinguish between an alcohol and a carboxylic acid? Alcohol and carboxylic acid. We do all know that carboxylic has a general formula. Carboxylic acid has a general formula of R
हमें नहीं लगाया बबुआ
ऐसे
double bond OH. Alright? And alcohol has the general
कपड़ा भी तो नहीं
formula
पहना
OH. That means both carboxylic acid and alcohol have OH group.
लुका
Now, how we can separate them? What is the reagent we will use to distinguish them? Okay. Normally, alcohols and
जियो सर के पास तो है
carboxylic acid both react with sodium because of the presence of this group. Okay.
कर सकते हैं क्या
Both react with sodium and produce hydrogen gas.
क्या जियो सर
Now, we all know there is a indicator known as litmus paper. What does litmus paper do? Litmus paper, if we use for the distinguishing of carboxylic acid and alcohol, we'll observe that carboxylic acid will turn, it is acid, so this will turn blue litmus paper red. This will turn blue litmus paper red. This will turn blue litmus paper red.
क्या होगा
But alcohol is not acidic in nature, neither basic in nature, so alcohol will not
उनके क्लास की
convert or not showing any color when we'll dip the litmus paper into the alcohol. So this is in simple manner we can distinguish between
यहाँ पे रिकॉर्ड हो रही है उनके मोबाइल में मेरे हाथ
carboxylic
में
acid and alcohol. Okay, so litmus paper is the reagent which we normally do use to separate between alcohol and carboxylic acid.
मैं
Okay.
बदलना चाहिए और बताइए
Now
मैम कोई सेवा हो तो बताइए
move to the
मैम
next question which is very interesting.
अच्छा मैम वो तो ऑनलाइन क्लास ले रहे हैं ठीक है मैम नमस्कार मैम
Just move to the next question which is very interesting, that is how can you distinguish between a phenol and a carboxylic acid. Phenol and carboxylic acid, we do all know that phenol
फिर बताएंगे फिर रात में जल्दी सो
is
जाएंगे
also acidic, right? And carboxylic acid
यार कुछ बताइए क्यों इतनी
is
जल्दी
also
हमारे रूम
acidic
पास हो जा रहा है ये गाजर के हलवे का जवाब तो नहीं है ना
the litmus paper which we do have used in the previous case we cannot use in this
जो पहले आती
case.
थी जो
Okay.
थकान के बाद आती
So
थी
what will we use to separate them? This is also acidic, this is also acidic, so we can't use litmus paper. In this purpose, we will use ferric chloride. Remember, my dear students, in the first question we have used to separate alcohol and phenol. Yes, ferric chloride. Okay. What does ferric chloride do? Ferric chloride react with this and form a violet color compound. This violet color compound because of the this that is OC6H5 compound. For this FeCl3 we will use to distinguish between phenol and carboxylic acid. And remember, my dear student, this time we can't use any litmus paper because litmus paper is only applicable for carboxylic only for acid or basic character determination. But here both are acidic. Phenol is also acidic, carboxylic acid are also acidic, so we can't use litmus paper or any other kind of indicators, okay, in this purpose. Okay, next go to the next slide, my dear students. How can we distinguish between alkene and alkyne? In the previous slides we have studied that distinguishing between alkane and alkene, and here we will distinguish between an alkene and alkyne. What is the general formula of alkene? Alkene has the general formula of Alkene has the general formula
रज्जू भाई लाए क्या एटीएम
this,
क्या एटीएम लाए आप एटीएम कार्ड नहीं
and alkyne has the general formula
72208 पैसा विड्रॉ करना है तो 20000 अरे तो उससे निकाल लो
this.
ना
Now,
हां हो सकता है तो इन्होंने
in which compound there are more number of multiple bonds? Here
नहीं होगा
or here?
यूनो से हो जाएगा भाई
Obviously, in the alkyne, there are more number of multiple bonds. Here, 3
अरे नहीं तो एक काम कर
bonds
दो ना, उसमें स्कैन क्यूआर
and
कोड से
here
भी
is
तो निकाल सकते हैं ना।
2 bonds.
यूपीआई से यहाँ से पेमेंट कर दो, वहाँ पे क्यूआर
There
कोड
will
स्कैन
be
कर लेना।
another
हाँ ये तो योनो में है ही सिस्टम।
R group, right?
चक्कर में पड़े
जो पूछ रहा है तो
Another R group. So here more number of multiple bonds as compared to this. So here we also use bromine water to distinguish between alkene
यूपीआई पे
and
कर लेना आप तो।
alkyne. Bromine water, what does do? Bromine water react
गई तो रहे का
more frequently with alkyne and not with alkene. That means bromine water, the order of reactivity of bromine water with
गाड़ी में डाल लेंगे।
alkyne will be much greater than that of alkene. So, for example, if we put alkane and alkene in a test tube which contain bromine water, that both the water will decolorize. But when we put alkyne in the bromine water solution, it will decolorize that test tube more frequently as compared to that of this. Okay, as compared to this. So we will see a difference in the rate of reaction between alkyne and alkene. Alkyne will react more rapidly with bromine water and make decolorize the red brown solution of bromine water as compared to alkene. Okay, let's move to the next question. How can you distinguish between aldehyde and ketone? We already have distinguish between aldehyde and ketone, but here we will distinguish aldehyde and ketone with respect to this test, SIP test. Okay, so SIP test is basically used to give positive test with this aldehyde, because aldehyde is more reactive as compared to ketone. So aldehyde will give positive SIP test and will give us a pink or purple color, but ketone does not react with SIP reagent. Okay, so this is we use basically to separate aldehyde and ketone. Now move to the next question. How can you differentiate between an ester and a carboxylic acid? How can you differentiate between an ester and carboxylic acid?
क्या मिलेगा?
Ester and carboxylic acid. Now, what is the general formula of ester and what is the general formula of carboxylic acid? Let's see. General formula of carboxylic acid is this, and the general formula of ester is this. Almost similar like structure for ester and for carboxylic acid. Now, carboxylic acid is an acid, but ester is neither acid nor base. So it will turn, carboxylic acid will turn the blue litmus paper red. Blue litmus paper red, but ester will not react with litmus paper and it will not show any kind of color change. At the same time, there is a difference in the smell of carboxylic acid. Probably in the practical of class 10, you have done this experiment, that is with carboxylic acid, that is react with alcohol and form ester, and probably you have gained a sweet fruit smell. That fruit smell is nothing but that of ester. Okay, now esters have a characteristic fruity smell, and this carboxylic acids have a sour smell. That means it does not have a characteristic sweet smell. Okay,
खुद बनाया था अपने लिए।
sorry my dear students.
तब तो खुद ही बना रही थी।
Now
उनको खुद को मजा आ
probably
रहा
you
था।
have
हम जब आए
understand
थे ना
this
सर,
question
उस
that
दिन तो रोटी वोटी वही
carboxylic
बनाई है,
acid
बहुत
and
मजा आया
ester
हम लोगों को भी।
distinguishing. Carboxylic acid is
तब
an
थोड़ा
acid.
नंबर आप
So,
वो भी कम थे ना।
Carboxylic acid can be easily distinguished from ester by using litmus paper or by using
ना बनाए ना
that sweet smell. Sweet smell
ना
will
बनाए।
coming from the ester part,
खाई
and carboxylic acid will give us a sour smell. Okay.
उस दिन तो 31
Let's go to the
दिसंबर
next
और
slide.
15 जनवरी को ना वो लोग रोटी बनाया।
Now, how can you differentiate between carboxylic
पूरी
acid
बनाया।
and an amine? Carboxylic acid and amine. The general formula. When you will do this kind of question, just write down the general formula. So this will be more easier for you to write down this equation or this to solve this type of question. Okay. Now we do all know that
JNVST
we do all know that wait, the carboxylic acid formula RCOOH, and amine has the general formula RNH2. Carboxylic acid has the general formula RCOOH, and amine has the general formula RNH2. And carboxylic acid is an acid, and amine is basic in nature. Okay, so amine is basic in nature. So same type of indicator which we normally use to differentiate between acid and base we'll use. So what does litmus paper normally which is used to distinguish between these two? Carboxylic acid is an acid, so carboxylic acid will react with litmus paper. Which color of litmus paper we'll use? We'll use blue litmus paper. It will convert blue litmus paper to red. Okay, and base change red litmus paper to blue. Okay, base change red litmus paper to blue. Now this is one indicator which you can use to distinguish between carboxylic acid and amine. We can use another method to distinguish between carboxylic acid and amine. That is, carboxylic acids react with sodium bicarbonate. Sodium bicarbonate. Sodium bicarbonate.
अपने यहाँ
Sodium
ये बड़ा समोसा
bicarbonate.
खाओ तो पता चलता है छोला डालो वाला वो ठंडी फिर आपको ये लेना पड़ेगा
Now, this sodium bicarbonate will react with carboxylic acid and form effervescence. Effervescence.
है तो वहाँ से एनजीबी की गाड़ी मिलता है एनजीबी सीधा ओके
This effervescence will show that the compound is carboxylic acid. But if we take the solution of ester and put sodium bicarbonate from outside, we'll not see this effervescence. We'll see effervescence. That means we'll observe the bubble, and that bubble will indicate that the sample is carboxylic acid or amine. The amine does not provide any bubbles with reaction with sodium bicarbonate, but carboxylic acid will do show effervescence or bubble after reacting with sodium bicarbonate. Okay.
Don't disturb me. अरे यार वो दुकान कहाँ रह गई यार?
कहाँ जा रहे हैं आप आपको भी पैसा निकालना है
और क्या?
Now go to the next question. That is, how can you distinguish? Just wait. That is, how can you distinguish between an alkyl halide and alcohol? Another good question. That is, alkyl halide and alcohol. Alkyl halide has the general formula. Alkyl halide has the general formula R Cl or Br or Rx. Normally Rx. Alkyl halide the general formula Rx, and alcohol has the general formula ROH. Okay. Alkyl halide has the general formula ROH. Okay. And alkyl halide has the general formula Rx. Now, How can you distinguish between alkyl halide and alcohol? We do know that alcohol, which kind of reagent we have used to distinguish between various types of alcohol, that is primary, secondary, and tertiary. Yes, my dear students, we have used Lucas reagent. Lucas reagent. What is Lucas reagent? That is concentrated HCl and anhydrous ZnCl2. This is Lucas reagent. This Lucas reagent will use to distinguish between alcohol and alkyl halide. Normally, Lucas reagent will give positive test with alcohol. That means we'll see turbidity when we put the Lucas reagent in alcohol solution, but we will not observe any kind of turbidity when we use Lucas reagent in the alkyl halide. Okay, so alkyl halide does not react with Lucas reagent, so it will give us negative Lucas test, but alcohol will give us positive Lucas test. So this reagent we normally use to distinguish between alkyl halide and alcohol. Okay. Okay. Now go to the next question, my dear students. That is, how can you distinguish between a ketone and a carboxylic acid? Ketone and carboxylic acid. Let's see the general formula of ketone. Ketone has the general formula this, and carboxylic acid has the general formula RC double bond OH. That means this part of carboxylic acid and this part of ketone both have the same carbonyl type of part, right? So don't get confused, my dear students. We do know that ketone or aldehyde does not have any acidic or basic character, but carboxylic acid have acidic character. So carboxylic acid will behave as acid and react with sodium bicarbonate and produce effervescence. That means if we take the solution of any acid that is in a test tube, if we take effervescence in a test tube and put acid, that is carboxylic acid, and we will see the bubble. We will see the bubble, and this effervescence will indicate that the presence of that carboxylic acid. This will show that the compound is nothing but the carboxylic acid. But if we do put the same reaction and does the same things with ketone and take a test tube and put ketone from outside, then we will not observe no effervescence. So no effervescence will observe. Okay. So as no effervescence will take place, that means the ketone will not react with sodium bicarbonate. So sodium bicarbonate is a reagent which we will normally use to distinguish between a ketone and a carboxylic acid. Okay, my dear students. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, read the question carefully. That is, how can you differentiate between an amide and a carboxylic acid? What is the general formula of amide? Amide has the general formula of like this. Okay, amide. And general formula of carboxylic acid, this. So carboxylic acid is an acid, but amide is a neutral species. The same way which we use, or the same trick which we use in the previous case, we will use here also. This carboxylic acid will react with sodium bicarbonate. Okay, this will react with sodium bicarbonate and form effervescence. Okay, and this effervescence will indicate that the compound is carboxylic acid. But this amide is a neutral species, so it will not show any kind of reaction with sodium bicarbonate. Okay. At the same time, this is an acid, so this will give the litmus paper test. That is, it will turn the blue litmus paper red. Okay, but this amide form will not turn any kind of color change. Okay, my dear students, let's go to the another questions. That is, how can you distinguish between an alcohol and a thiol? Normally, alcohol, the general formula of alcohol is like this, and thiol has the general formula RAC. There is only one difference, that is O and that is S. Okay, just remember this question and carefully look at that solve or solution of this question. Normally, alcohol and thiol both are almost same category of compound, but thiol can be distinguished from alcohol by reacting the thiol with lead acetate. Lead acetate. If we react with thiol, that is RSH, with lead acetate, that is lead acetate, then we'll observe this PBS, black precipitate or black compound will form. This is black precipitate will form, and this black precipitate will give us the indication that this compound is not alcohol, but this compound is a thiol. But when we do the same reaction, that is when we react it with lead acetate, the same way we will not observe no reaction. We will not observe any kind of black precipitate because sorry, to do black precipitate we need this sulfide group, that is this sulfide atom, okay, sulfur atom. So lead sulfide will be formed, and as there is no sulfur atom in the alcohol, so alcohol will not react with lead acetate and will not give us this type of test. So when in the question there will be this type of question where it is asked that distinguish between alcohol and thiol, you will use lead acetate as the reagent, and lead acetate will give the positive test for thiol and not with alcohol. Okay, my dear students, hopefully you have understand this concept. Okay, now go to the next question and last questions of distinguishing part. That is, how can you distinguish between a nitrile and an amine? Okay, wait. How can you distinguish between a nitrile and an amine? Now, nitriles have the general formula RCN and amine has the general formula RNH2. Okay, nitriles has the general formula RCN and amine has the general formula RNH2. Okay, now amine and nitrile both does not react with sodium nitroprusside. Only amine do react with sodium nitroprusside and not nitriles and give a red colored compound. That means this amine will react with sodium nitroprusside, that is sodium nitroprusside, and give a red colored compound, and this red colored compound is visible, but this nitrile will not react with this sodium nitroprusside, that is sodium nitroprusside. Okay, so nitrile will not react with sodium nitroprusside, but amine will react with sodium nitroprusside and will give red colored compound. Okay, and at the same time amine is a basic in nature, So amine will turns red litmus paper blue, but the nitriles does not have any acidic or basic character. That means nitriles will not do the reaction with litmus paper. This is another way you can distinguish between nitrile and amine. Okay, my dear students. Now go to the another type of questions, that is word basis questions. Okay. These are also very important questions. Normally, here I will try to teach you that how you will find the way to do this type of questions. Okay. Now, just before doing this type of questions, always study the reagent regarding some types of reagent. Always write down the chemical reactions very consciously. Okay, and you just need to read the questions thoroughly so that you can understand or just get a point of view from which you can do or solve all the parts of the questions. For example, like this here, an unknown here an unknown here an unknown compound A reacts with diborane and then with hydrogen peroxide to form compound B, okay, which undergoes oxidation to form compound C. Okay, now the compound is C3H6 formula. When you do get this type of formula, always compare to with the general formula of alkane, alkene, and alkyne. And what is the general formula of alkane, alkene, or alkyne? Do you find any kind of similarity between alkane, alkene, or alkyne type of formula with this? Yeah, it has the general formula CnH2n type of formula. Okay, so this is alkene type, right? So this compound is nothing but an alkene. Okay, and now this alkene react with diborane in presence of hydrogen peroxide. That means this alkene. Now just find the alkene. The compound has a formula this, so the alkene should have to be this. So the alkene should have to be this. CH3 CH double bond this. Okay, that is propene C3H6. So this is the formula. Okay, so this is the alkene. So propene is our alkene. Now it react with diborane. That is, you have reacted like this BH3, okay, and H2O2. That means you do have remember that is from Markovnikov or anti-Markovnikov rule of hydrolysis. Okay, when we do use this reagent, this will give us the anti-Markovnikov rule product. That is, when propene will react with diborane, sometimes it give B2H6 and sometimes it will provide BH3. All the reagents have the same meaning. Okay. Now, when you use this diborane or BH3 and then H2O2, we'll observe this type of product. Okay. CH3 CH2 CH2OH. This is anti-Markovnikov type reaction because the OH group, because of the OH group connected with carbon 1. Okay, so this is the compound B. Okay, this is compound A and this is compound B. Okay. Now, further, let's check the formula of compound B. Also, that is CH3, CH3, that is C3, H8, that is 3 to 5, 6, 7, 8. So C3H8 and O, that is correct. So this is nothing but our propan 1-ol. Okay. Now, when it further undergo oxidation, okay, when it undergo oxidation, when it undergo oxidation, when it undergo oxidation, okay, it will give us this. Alcohol undergo oxidation and form aldehyde. That means this. It may undergo do oxidation and give you aldehyde or carboxylic acid, but you need to know which I have provided in the question. Just check. In the question, it is given C3H6O. There is no O2. If it is given O2, then the compound may be like this. At first, write down the compound which is formed in our experiment. That is CH3CH2 CHO. Let's find the formula 1, 2, 3C. 2, 3, 5 and 6 H and 1 O. So aldehyde is the last step of this reaction. Okay, no carboxylic acid will form. If this formula is given, if the question given in such a way that the formula of compound C is like C3 H7O2, then the compound will be like this: CH3 CH2 COOH. Okay, so you need to check the given compound to find out this type of problem. Okay. Hopefully, my dear students, you have learned how to solve this type of question. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Just go through the question. Okay. An unknown compound A. Formula C2H6O. An unknown compound A, that is C2H6O, reacts with PCC, that is pyridinium chlorochromate. Pyridinium chlorochromate. What does pyridinium chlorochromate do? It is oxidizing or reducing agent. Yeah. Sorry. Pyridinium chlorochromate is mild oxidizing agent. Okay, pyridinium chlorochromate is mild oxidizing agent. So this is whatever be the compound, it will oxidize this compound. Okay, and form compound B. That means compound B is oxidized compound. Okay, and then further reacts with potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate also do oxidation. Potassium permanganate also do oxidation. Now, from this reagent, we normally understand that this reagent is generally used to form aldehyde. This reagent is normally used to form aldehyde from alcohol. Okay. So what does PCC do? PCC do convert primary alcohol into aldehyde. Primary alcohol. That alcohol is primary alcohol. Okay. That primary alcohol will be converted to aldehyde. So let's try to write down the formula of the compound. That is formula of the compound like CH3 CH2OH. This is primary alcohol. Let's manage the formula C2 2 hydrogen 3 to 5 6 and O. So our desired compound is this. Okay. So compound A is ethanol, and when ethanol do react with PCC, that is pyridinium chlorochromate, it will give us this, that is CH3CHO. This CH3CHO is an aldehyde. So this is mild oxidizing agent, will oxidize this ethanol to this. And let's check the formula of B, that is C2H4 and O. This is also match. So compound A is ethanol, compound B is an aldehyde. And hello.
हेलो
हाँ
सर, आपका वो जो जो क्वेश्चन आंसर वो शो नहीं हो रहा है आपको सिर्फ।
सर स्क्रीन पे थोड़ा बड़ा कीजिए ना।
स्क्रीन तो बड़ा है सर। वल्लभ रॉय प्रेजेंटिंग आ रहा है।
एक मिनट सर, एक मिनट सर।
देख पा रहे हैं जल्दी से बोलिए।
शो हो रहा है सर?
हाँ वहीं पे अभी क्या चाहिए हमको?
सर शो हो रहा है?
हैं? कहाँ से ले लेंगे? सब्जी हाँ तो चाहिए 5 से ज़्यादा। 10 है
सर क्या अभी शो हो रहा है?
हाँ सर, अभी 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 आना शुरू हुआ है।
अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है। Shall I continue sir?
Yes sir, yes sir. Please.
Okay, thank you sir. So the compound B when react with potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate is another oxidizing agent. Potassium permanganate is another oxidizing agent, and when potassium permanganate, that is KMnO4, react with B, aldehyde will convert it to carboxylic acid. Okay, this carboxylic acid. Let's check the formula. That is C2. Okay, hydrogen 3, hydrogen 4, and oxygen 2. So carbon 2 match, hydrogen 4 match, oxygen 2 match. That means our reaction proceed in this way. Okay, so our A is ethanol, B is CH3CHO, that is acetaldehyde. Okay, now our compound C is this. Okay, understand my dear students? Okay, let's move to the next slide. Now just read the question carefully. Okay, an unknown compound A having the formula C4H10O undergo dehydration to form compound B. Okay, to form compound B, and the compound B then undergo hydrolysis with potassium permanganate, hydrolysis to form compound C. Okay, identified A, B, C. Now dehydration, to go to dehydration, generally alcohols do go to dehydration process or involved in the dehydration process. So just in your way write down the formula of alcohol. Okay, so let's try to write down the formula of alcohol. Okay, that is CH3 CH2 CH2 CH2OH, C4 hydrogen 3 to 5 to 7 to 9 and 1, that is 10. Hydrogen also match, oxygen also match. That means the compound A is nothing but this butanol. Many of you can also write down the butan 2-ol or butan 3-ol. Okay, butan 2-ol or butan 1-ol. Both are correct. Okay, if someone write this alcohol formula like this, Your C also correct. Okay. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbon. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. Okay. Both are correct. As I have taken this example, so I have write down all the products, continuing product in this manner. Okay. So I will use the above expression. Okay. So I have taken A as butanol. Okay. I have taken butanol as my product. You can also take butan 2 okay. Now butanol when react with any dehydrating agent, for example, heat and H2SO4, okay, undergo dehydration, so it will form an alkene after dehydration, okay, that is CH3, CH2, CH2, double bond CH2, okay. This compound will form. Let's check whether this compound has match or not. Um, Wait, C4, 3 to 5, 6, 7, 8. Compound is matched. So this is our compound B. That is but 1 in. When we do numbering, that is but 1 in. Okay. This but 1 in our compound B, and when it undergo hydrolysis in presence of KMNO4, that is hydrolysis, this hydrolysis in presence of KMNO4 will get this compound, okay. CH3, CH2, CH, OH, CH2, OH. This compound will be formed, okay. So a diol compound will be formed. So butane 1,2 diol compound will form. Let's check the formula with C. 4C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4C, hydrogen 3, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. There is some printing mistake in the question here. The question is C4H8OH2. Okay. So the compound is this. This compound will form. Compound C is this. Okay. Probably you do have understand, my dear students, how to do such type of questions. Okay, let's check. Okay, everything is all right. Now go to the next slide. Just go to the next slide and see. Now, an unknown compound A. An unknown compound A reacts with water. Reacts with water in presence of an acid catalyst to form compound B. Okay, which further undergo oxidation to form compound C. Okay, identify A, B, C. Now, what I have told you that when nothing will be written, that is C2H4, there is no oxygen atom in the compound. So you will take this.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please, sir.
One of the student asking some questions. I think. What is your question?
सर पिछले वाले क्वेश्चन में आपने सेकंड स्टेप में हाइड्रोलाइसिस करके 2 OH लगा दिया सर, वो समझ में नहीं है सर, आप समझा सकते तो.
Okay, I mean 2OH group. क्या क्वेश्चन है पूछो तुम।
हाँ सर इधर।
Here,
यस सर।
जोर से बोलो ना।
यस सर।
this double bond gets during hydrolysis. This during hydrolysis. Yes, during hydrolysis, this double bonds dissociate and two OH group will attach with it.
How sir?
Hello.
How sir?
My dear students, mechanism is not important. Just write that product. There is a syntax mistake in the question. I've already told you.
हाइड्रोलाइसिस में तो हमें पता है ना सर, सिर्फ एक वाटर से हाइड्रोजन लगता है और एक साइड OH लगता है, तो इधर
As the question is written this type of way, that's why I have just put the which. In the previous question slide, if you notice that, write this. Wait. The aldehyde or carboxylic acid both can be formed, but actually here we need to observe this formula. Okay, there is a printed mistake in that formula. Okay,
yes, sir.
that's why I have just write down that thoroughly. There is a printing mistake in that question, my dear student. Okay.
Yes sir.
So you need to just check that formula of that compound. Okay.
Yes sir.
Okay. Hopefully you have understand. Okay. Let's continue to the next slide. Now, an unknown compound A, that is C2H4, reacts with water in presence of an acid catalyst to form compound B. Okay, that is which I have already told you that when there is no oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen atom in this type of compound, just you will say that sorry, take it as a formula of alkane, alkene, or alkyne. Okay, so what is the general formula of alkane, alkene, alkyne look like of this compound? That is CnH2n type of compound. Like this is CnH2n type of compound. That means this is nothing but alkene. And what is the formula of alkene of two carbon atoms? That is ethene. Okay, that is ethene. CH2 double bond CH2. Okay. Now an unknown compound A reacts with water in presence of an acid. Okay. That means here, my dear students, the answer of your question. Here one single H2O is connected with this. Okay. So this is an example of hydrolysis also. This compound will connect with one water molecule. Okay. Water molecule. So and one H will go to this part and another OH will go to this part and will form this compound. Okay, so formula of A, this is A, this is B. Okay, this is B. Let's check the formula. 2C. Okay, hydrogen 3 to 5 6 1 O. So B is also correct. Okay, this further undergo oxidation to form compound C, that is C2H4O. Okay, that is C2H4O, and we all know that alcohol undergo oxidation and form either aldehyde or ketone. Now, if we write down the formula, that is sorry, that is, if it is CHO or CH3 COOH, the compound is either CH3 CHO or CH3 COOH. But before that, we need to look at the formula. Okay, the formula of compounds is provided, that is C2, both have C2. Okay, 4 hydrogen, 3, 1, 4 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. That means this compound is C, not this compound, because if this compound, the formula of C, if provided or given in the question as C2H4O2, then the compound should be this. Okay, hopefully my dear students, you have understand this concept. Let's go to the next slide. Now, an unknown compound A, okay, an unknown compound A reacts with an alcohol, in the presence of a catalyst to form compound B. Have the general formula C3H8O2. Okay. Now compound B reacts with sodium hydroxide. Compound B reacts with sodium hydroxide
क्या चाहिए आपको? अभी 200 रुपए
to
का
form compound C. Okay. Now, my dear students, when you will observe 2O2 group in an unknown compound, just always remember that this is an example of acid. This is an example of acid. Okay. Just so the general formula of an acid having 2 carbon atoms is like this. That is CH3 COOH, right? CH3 COOH, that is acetic acid. Let's check its formula with the given one, that is 2 carbon, 4 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. Okay. Now this compound reacts with alcohol in presence of a catalyst and form this. We all know that when acid reacts with an alcohol, it will form an ester. Okay. Now let's see when we'll start the reaction of this carboxylic acid initially with methanol, then ethanol, then propanol, then butanol. In this way, we'll observe that which kind of product will form and the formula of that product with B. Let's initially react with this carboxylic acid with methanol, that is CH3OH, and we'll observe CH3COCH3. This ester will form. If it is ethanol, that is CH3CH2OH. Let's check the formula. 3 carbon, it is also 3 carbon, 2 oxygen, it is also 2 oxygen, 6 hydrogen, but here it is 8 hydrogen. Let's check with ethanol. So the formula of the compound will be CH3CO O CH2 CH5. So the number of carbon atoms, that is 1. Okay, that is 2. Here also some printing mistake, my dear students, because it will be C4. Okay, it will be C4. It will be C4. So this is our compound, that is CH3COOCH2 CH3. Okay, So this is our compound B. Okay. Now when compound B reacts with sodium hydroxide, it will form compound C. As this, there is also a printing mistake because ester can't react with sodium hydroxide in such a way. An acid can react with. Here, compound A reacts with sodium hydroxide and form compound B. Here, compound A reacts with sodium hydroxide and form compound C. We'll see that when compound CH3CHH reacts with sodium hydroxide, it will give us this CH3COONA. Okay, so this is our compound C. Hopefully, my dear students, you understand this question. Okay, here you see 2C, 3 hydrogen, 2 O2 and 1 Na. Okay, let's move to the next slide. An unknown compound A reacts with cold dilute potassium permanganate to form compound B. Okay, to form compound B. Okay, now an unknown compound A reacts with cold dilute potassium permanganate to form compound B, which have the formula C4H8O2. Okay, C4H8O2. Here will be the formula. Okay, so you can see that when compound there is no oxygen or sulfur atom, so this would be alkane or alkyne formula. This is alkene. Okay, when this alkene react with KMnO4, it will be form this butane 2,3-diol. Okay, here is the same process because this formula we need to check. Okay, my dear students, let's move to the next slide. This is the repeating questions of hydroboration oxidation. Same type of questions like this. An unknown compound A, that is a C3H6, reacts with diborane. That means the same reaction. This is also between alkane or alkyne. The 3-carbon alkane is between that is propene. This propene will react with diborane and form propan 1-ol, that is like this, CH3CH double bond CH2. When diborane will react, it will react in the anti-Markovnikov way. Okay, so it will give us this product. So it will give us this product, and when it will undergo further oxidation, it will provide us this, that is CH3, CH2 and CHO. Okay, here is your C3H6, that is 3 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen, 1 6 and 3 carbon and oxygen. Okay, let's go to the next slide because time is taking. And dear students, alcohol to alkene. Okay, an unknown compound A having the formula C4H10O undergoes dehydration with concentrated sulfuric acid to form compound B. Identified A and B. This is very easy question and common question to you. What I have told you, when there is one oxygen, the compound may be alcohol, aldehyde, or ketone. But sorry, from our previous example, we have already seen that only alcohol which undergo in dehydration with sulfuric acid. Okay, so what is the formula of 4 carbon alcohol? That is C4H10O means CH3 CH2 CH2OH. Okay, now just wait. Yeah, CH3 CH2 CH2 CH2OH. Okay, now when it undergo dehydration dehydration with sulfuric acid, then it will give us CH3 CH2 CH double bond CH2. This product will be formed. Let's check the formula. 2 3 4 4 carbon, hydrogen 3 to 5 6 7 8 8 hydrogen. Okay, so in this way we'll convert or find out the A. Okay, let's go to the another question. An unknown compound A reacts with HCl to form compound B, which then reacts with potassium cyanide to form compound this. Find out ABC. This is also another very interesting question. Now C2H6, compare it with the general formula of alkane, alkene, and alkyne. That is, it look like that is CnH2n plus 2 like formula almost. Okay, but this is C2H4 compound. Okay, not C2H6. Okay, so what does it do? Double bond CH2 CH2. This will react with HCl. So one part of hydrogen will go to this carbon, one chlorine part will go to this carbon, and will give CH3 CH2 Cl. You can see 2 carbon 5 hydrogen, so C2H5 Cl. Okay, and which reacts with KCN to form CH3 CH2 Cn plus KCl, and see 1 2 3. Okay, so this compound is already formed. Go to the next slide. Ketone to alcohol. An unknown compound A undergoes reduction with sodium borohydride to form compound B. Okay, an unknown compound A which undergoes reduction, and normally either acid or aldehyde undergo reduction with sodium borohydride. Okay, so there is only one oxygen atom, so this compound is nothing but our aldehyde or ketone. So 3 carbon aldehyde is 3 carbon aldehyde is
बिल का बिना कुछ नहीं है अभी सीख गया मैंने
this
विदाउट बिल नो बिल
CH3 CH2 CHO. Okay, 3 carbon aldehyde is this. 1 2 3 carbon. Okay, hydrogen number is 6, so this compound is not aldehyde. So
कभी से लेटी
3 carbon ketone is this. So this compound is nothing but ketone. So A is a ketone which undergo reduction with sodium borohydride to form sodium borohydride, reduce this part and will provide this.
कितना बड़ा मार्केट दिख रहा है हम लोगों को और हम लोग ढोर ढोर कर रहे हैं.
CH3CHO is CH3. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is our desired compound. Look at this, C3H8O. Okay. Next, go to the next slide. An unknown compound A undergoes reduction to form compound B, which undergoes oxidation to compound C. Now, unknown compound A having 4 carbon which undergo reduction. Okay, reduction, which undergo reduction. Reduction normally undergo aldehyde or ketone. 4 carbon aldehyde formula, that is
मिला नहीं आया तो
4 carbon aldehyde formula,
हाँ हाँ ठीक है.
CH3 CH2 CH2
कार्बन
CHO, 4 carbon, 3 to 5 6 7 8 hydrogen. So A is this. This will undergo reduction,
तो ऐसे
okay,
ऐसे निकल दीजिए
by any kind of means,
bypass
that
से.
is by using sodium borohydride. So it will give us
पार्किंग
CH3 CH2 CH2 CH2OH. Let's check the formula. C4 3 5 6 7 8 9 10. So B is our this compound which undergo further oxidation. When this compound undergo oxidation, this will give us
कितना प्रेजेंट है
CH3 CH2 CH2 C, either CHO
only
or
6 members
CH3
all the teacher.
CH2 CH2 C double OH.
अच्छा
Okay,
1 2 3
let's check. 4 carbon 4 carbon 8 hydrogen 8 hydrogen 1 oxygen. That means this is not, this is because of 2 oxygen. Okay, so our C is this. Okay, hopefully you have understand this question, my dear students. Now alkene compounds. Now an unknown compound A reacts with hydrogen in presence of a catalyst to form compound B. Okay, now identify A and B. Now when we see that A is having the formula like alkane, alkene and alkyne. So this has the general formula like,
कल का क्या सर करी उठिए
this has the general formula CnHn.
मंडे का रूटीन क्या है
So this is nothing but alkyne. 2 carbon alkyne is this alkyne. When it reacts with hydrogen in presence of catalyst, that is palladium, platinum, any kind of catalyst, it will give us this compound, or when it will further reduce with this, it may give us this. Okay, so the formula of the B is matched with this, so compound B is this and A is this. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Aromatic hydrocarbon to nitro compound. An unknown compound A undergo nitration with concentrated nitric acid and sulfuric acid to form compound B. Identified A and B. Very interesting. And that is unknown compound A. It looks like the formula of benzene. So benzene, what does it do? Benzene reacts with concentrated H2SO4 and concentrated HNO3 to form nitrobenzene. Okay, let's check the formula. This is C6H6 and this is C6H5NO2. The formula is matched, so A is this and B is this. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, an unknown compound A reacts with PCC. This is same type of problems which we have previously discussed. That PCC is used to react with alcohol. and this is an oxidizing agent and
तो जो
converting
भाई वो उसको लेके आई ना
aldehyde,
उधर साइड को उस तरफ ही होगा
which further oxidize
है ना
to form either aldehyde or acid, which will depends upon the formula which have been provided. Okay, let's move to the next slide. An unknown compound A, as the time is very almost over, so just complete these slides quickly as soon as possible. Okay. An unknown compound A reacts with sodium borohydride to form compound this identified A and B. We all know sodium borohydride is nothing but a reducing agent, and this reducing agent react with an aldehyde or ketone. Here the formula represent that this is nothing but an aldehyde which react with sodium borohydride and form this compound, that is CH3 CH2OH, and the compound B has the formula C2H6O. Okay, so this is B. Okay, now an unknown compound A that is undergoes dehydration in presence of acid catalyst to form compound B, identified A and B. Now undergo dehydration. Dehydration normally undergoes by alcohol. So compound A having one carbon alcohol is nothing but this CH3OH, which undergo dehydration in presence of catalyst to form this. So this is nothing but the formation of ether. Okay.
उसी रोड में है हम लोग
And the formula also match. So compound A is methanol and B is dimethyl ether. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. An unknown compound A, that is CClH3, react with sodium hydroxide to form compound B. This is very easy question. That is CHCl. That is CH3Cl plus NaOH will react and form this compound, that is CH3OH. So this is B and this is A. Okay. So my dear students, that's all from today's point of view, from today's session. So hopefully you have enjoyed the lecture and I have tried to teach you those things which are very important from CBSE point of view. Okay. So any question? Anyone have any question?
नहीं आया तो नहीं ये सामान रख के गया है वो लोग बाजार कर रहा होगा उसको बोल दीजिए मैं आ गया गाड़ी में बोल दीजिए
Okay, so that's all from my point of view. Good night and thank you.
चिकन दे रहे क्या इसमें
आज हाँ चिकन दे रही है
आए थे तो मन में कुछ सवाल थे और मुझे लगा कि पूछूंगी लेकिन जो भी बैठा था वहाँ पे उन सब ने
आपका जो वो बाउल है उसमें खाना गरम रहता था
और जब मैं आपके पास आने का यहाँ पे
वो जो बाउल खरीदा था
मैं आपसे मन ही मन बात कर रही थी
अरे बाउल नहीं लिया था वहाँ
ओ बोला
अगले दिन मैं
होता है तो
वार्तालाप खोलती थी
रहता है
कोई ना कोई वो सवाल
कितना देर
पूछा
रहता
होगा
है
आप मुझे बस प्रेम
कहाँ रहेगा
का काफी है
रहेगा
बहुत बहादुर
रहेगा
है
एक
संसार का यह सम्मान
ले जाइए
होने पर भक्ति की तरफ मुड़ पाना बहुत कठिन होता है हमें लगता है कि विशेष प्रभाव आपका इनके ऊपर भक्ति कब पड़ेगा
कुछ नहीं है उसके ऊपर कुछ नहीं
हाँ भक्ति के ऊपर तो कुछ नहीं है भगवान के भरोसे रहो नामदेव को और खूब प्रेम से रहो खूब आनंद से रहो
डॉक्टर सुनील
স্টার হোটেল থেকে অর্ডার এসেছে। খাবার ডেলিভারি দিতে এসেই যেন চমকে গেলেন ডেলিভারি ম্যান। এ তো জিম্বাবুয়ের তারকা ক্রিকেটার রায়ান বার্ল। মজার বিষয়, সিলেটের স্থানীয় রেস্টুরেন্ট থেকে তিনি কাবাব অর্ডার করে এনেছেন। ক্রিকেটের সূত্রে দীর্ঘদিন যাবত তার বাংলাদেশে যাওয়া আসা রয়েছে, তাই খুব ভালো করেই জানেন। अगर आपकी रील पर भी अभी शादी नहीं हुई है क्या? ठीक है, कोई अच्छी सी लड़की ढूंढना, ज्यादा सरफेस के ऊपर मत खोजना, जोड़ी कैसी है, हाइट कैसी है, और कैसे मुस्कुराती है, खाली इन चीजों में मत जाना। उसकी गुण कर्म स्वभाव और उसका पूर्वज खानदान ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड देख करके करना शादी, ठीक है? ये सीख दे दी है सब, और सारे युवाओं को भी है। ये सोशल मीडिया वाली शादी चली गई, आधी तो घुसेंगी, आधी घूमने वाली। शादी नहीं हुई है क्या? ছোট বাচ্চা